10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Injection, fellas.
What's cracking, Rick? It's your boy, Wanya Mars, the Boyz II Men. And I think one of my favorite Boyz II Men memories is when we sung the national anthem at the Olympics. First time it had been done besides Marvin Gaye singing the national anthem before in a wide range or a international type vibe. And, you know, it was just to see the audience and to hear how many people was watching it and all those things. Being young like I was, I felt like we had reached a certain level, and it was totally exciting. I think that my favorite Boyz II Men song, so many, but the one that I love the most, that I can sing all the time, that actually gives me, you know, a different vibe every time, because you can equate it not just to the love of a woman, but you can also equate it to the love of God. So I think it's, can we go back to the days our love was strong? Can you tell me how a perfect love goes wrong? Can somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be? Oh God, give me the reason. I'm down on bended knee. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean, a double meaning. It could be for a relationship, but when you're asking God at the end, you know, that hook really resonates with me. So I hope that's your, you know, the answers to your questions, bro. Please enjoy your day. Enjoy life. Have a safe and solid 2021. Much love, bro. Peace.
In 2017, Tango Magazine, which is a lifestyle magazine designed for women, through their website, yourtango.com, polled 1,000 participants to see what happens when you go through a breakup. 71% of people say they think about their ex too much. Narrowing it down to singles, the figure went up to 81%. More than half, 57%, of single people polled said thinking about their ex actively prevented them from finding new love. But it's not just singles. Married folks are ex-obsessed as well. About 2/3 of married people, 60%, argue that their ex is on their mind too often, and 36% say that their attachment to their exes causes friction within their marriage. 74% of women and 64% of men think about their ex too much. 76% of women and 70% of men have looked up an ex on the internet, and 50% of women and 40% of men say that they look at their ex's Facebook or other online profiles too often. 59% of people remain Facebook friends with an ex after they've broken up. Likewise, almost 3/4 of people, about 74%, have looked up an ex on the internet. Tango found that 86% of people admit to looking at photos of their ex. 14% of married folks admit to doing so often, and 50% of people have called, texted, emailed, or instant messaged an ex when they definitely shouldn't have. Elena Rubin of Elite Daily, in an interview with Dr. Fran Walfish, a Beverly Hills family and relationship psychotherapist, and Dr. Erica Martinez, a licensed psychologist, attempted to crack the case on just why it is we get so hung up on our exes, and for a good portion of people, even get back with their ex. Walfish says that people return to an ex to stop feeling so lonely, and Martinez explains that one of the main reasons people return to their exes is fear. People get back with exes because they want safety and familiarity. It's fear of going back to the dating scene, being open and vulnerable in a new relationship, or the risk of being heartbroken in a new relationship. She also lists financial concerns and unresolved feelings as other reasons some people may go back to an ex. People seek the safety of a comfortable financial situation that a particular relationship may afford. And Martinez says that when someone returns to an ex, it can be that there's still something left unresolved, or some additional lesson that they need to learn in that relationship. Most people feel an empty, lonely, sad feeling after a breakup, Walfish says. Others may feel relief when the relationship has been filled with conflicts, anger, and fighting. The other question is, how do you take your own emotional temperature and know the difference between neediness and the impulse to return to a negative relationship, or the hope for an improved relationship with your ex? We are independent beings who need each other, Walfish says, and we can only come to another person as a complete and separately contained whole individual without the expectation of the other filling up gaps and holes, but rather two wholes equal the best couple. According to Martinez, going back to an ex could make sense in some situations. If you've been in other relationships and still find yourself thinking of this person, you still find yourself having feelings for an ex-partner, that ex-partner is interesting and willing to rekindle, well, maybe that's an opportunity to go back and see if it works at a later date. Maybe you had certain characteristics that led to the demise in the first go-round, and you've grown as a person, you've matured, you've changed. And when it comes to a song that nails what it feels like to still pine for the one that got away, there are none better than the 1992 massive R&B hit by Boyz II Men. Hello to all you
road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does.
and welcome back to Heard It in a Love Song, the show where we take a trip to the past to discover the history of a love song we all know and love. My name is Richard Hunt, and this week we're taking a long road into the history of a heartbreaking R&B banger, End of the Road by Boyz II Men. We start our story in 1985 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts, CAPA for short. Home to future stars like Boyz II Men, Questlove and Black Thought from The Roots, and Leslie Odom Jr. This is where we meet up with Nathan Morris. Nathan had really impressed the powers that be at CAPA and got himself an admission to the high school as a result. Despite the fact that the school was a fine arts school, at the end of the day it was still a school. And unsurprisingly, during a history class, Nathan, bored to death, started singing, and the teacher told him to be quiet. He paid no attention to the teacher, and instead raised his voice as he sang. Mark Nelson, his classmate, also started singing. They were both kicked out and hit it off from there. Nathan and Mark, along with fellow classmates George Baldy, John Schultz, and Marguerite Walker, formed the R&B group Unique Attraction. They were a hit in school. Girls ate them up. And in 1987, they added another member into the fold, freshman Wanya Morris, no relation to Nathan. The group would practice harmonizing in the bathroom and on subway platforms, creating songs or just riffing. The bathroom was chosen, of course, because it had the best acoustics. Once they had worked out a show, they'd showcase it to an audience at the favorite teen hangout in Philadelphia, the Gallery Mall in Center City. But despite how well they all worked together, in 1988, upon graduation, George, John, and Marguerite left the group. Their absence was felt hard and immediately, but, soldiering on, it wasn't long before Mark, Nathan, and Wanya would find one of the missing pieces of Unique Attraction by means of Sean Stockman. The guys had already formed something of a group at this time and were simply rehearsing harmonies in the school bathroom one day, specifically harmonizing to the New Edition hit, Can You Stand the Rain? Michael McCary joined them on harmonies, perfectly indicating that he was completing the puzzle that they did not know was missing a piece. With the permanent lineup cemented, the five-piece changed their name to Boyz II Men in 1988 after the track Boyz II Men on New Edition's 1988 album Heartbreak. The name change happened at a very serendipitous moment. Sean, in an interview with People magazine, recalled, "Nate and I were on the phone talking about changing our name because we thought the one that we had sucked. Unique Attraction. Ugh, so gross. It was such a Philadelphia name. If you grew up in Philadelphia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was cheesy, but it was such a vibe back then. The song Boyz II Men by New Edition came on, and that was it. I was like, yo, that should be our name. I'm telling you, it sounds like a concept." Nate wasn't very fond of the new moniker at first, but he couldn't find anything better, so he stuck with that. Thank God that song came on. It was an evanescent moment. In 1989, following a massively successful performance at CAPA's Valentine's Day dance, they were determined to get into a sold-out New Edition show. But like many world-changing moments, the details are a bit muddled. Like a lot of kids from Philadelphia with dreams of music stardom, the group met up with Charlie Mack, the longtime local music promoter immortalized in the DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince song Charlie Mack, parentheses, the first out the limo.
Everywhere that I go, he goes, he's Charlie Mack, and he's the first out the limo.
And it was Charlie Mack that invited them to the concert. Was it the New Edition show at the Spectrum in January of 1989, or Power 99's Powerhouse 2 festival at the Civic Center in May, or some other show entirely? The details are a bit hazy. Nathan Morris says it was the Civic Center and that Michael Bivins of New Edition was there, and as tempting as it is to go into the history of New Edition right here and now, they deserve their own episode, so that'll happen in the future. When the CAPA boys got there, they couldn't find Charlie Mack. He was running late, and desperate to get inside to meet their idols, the Kappa crew did a little singing, a little sweet talking, and inspired some kind soul to donate a backstage pass to their cause. Of course, one pass doesn't really cut it for a party of 5, so the first guy in had to slip it back out a window to the next guy, and so on. The plan was to find Will Smith backstage and perform for him, but while looking for Smith, they happened to cross paths with Michael Bivins, who along with fellow group mates Ricky Bell and Ronnie DeVoe just announced they were forming a New Edition spin-off trio, Bell Biv DeVoe.
Now you know.
According to Nathan, they sang their polished a cappella version of Can You Stand the Rain, surrounded by famous artists on the bill that night, Sherelle, Kid and Play, Patti LaBelle, etc. Some versions of the story have Will Smith, Paula Abdul, and Keith Sweat there too.
My body all over your body, baby. Your body all over my body, baby.
Impressed, Michael Bivins gave the boys his phone number and promised to keep in touch, although he may have regretted that decision when they started to call him nonstop. I hounded him, Nathan Morris admitted, recalling how he had to talk Bivins into becoming their manager, a move that Bivins is forever thankful for, as Boyz II Men really pushed him into becoming a music manager. I was curious where they stood as far as stage presence, Bivins told Rolling Stone. I wasn't seeing the complete package, but I could see that they had the most important piece, which a lot of groups were missing at the time, the vocals. They set out to record their debut, but it wasn't without turmoil, almost stopping before they even started. The delay before recording their own material was reportedly due to personality conflicts, which led to founding member Mark Nelson leaving the group.
Sounds like someone who's about to give up a huge opportunity.
Making Boyz II Men into the quartet that found international fame. Michael McCary, Wanya Morris, Nathan Morris, and Sean Stockman.
And all the mistakes you can eat.
Bivins' contributions to the evolution of Boyz II Men could not be understated. He matched their street corner vocal dynamics with unmistakable beats and a hip-hop swagger, and he chose their matching uber-preppy sweater and tie look, basing it on the character Alfred Vanderpool from his favorite soap opera at the time, All My Children, dubbing the style Alex Vanderpool. The members of Boyz II Men were a bit confused with the fashion choice, but they soon came to accept and enjoy wearing the upscale clothing. We weren't really into it at first, Stockman told Spin magazine, but once we started wearing the stuff and learned how to put it together, it started to feel good. After 2.5 months of working with Bivins, Boyz II Men went to the recording studio. Songs just came into our heads. Pop, pop, pop. Stockman told the Akron Beacon Journal, we had material from way back and it just felt good to us, so we did it. We wrote about 7 of the 8 songs on the album, and when we needed up-tempo, they handed us cassettes with the beats and we wrote the words. We were ready. Tracks from their budding debut, Cooley High Harmony, attracted the attention of Motown record executives who signed a contract with the group, and Cooley High Harmony was released on April 30th, 1991. The album was extensively produced by Dallas Austin, who has produced so many well-known songs, including The album's name is a tribute to a real high school in Chicago, Cooley Vocational High School, and the liner notes identified unique nicknames for each member of the group. These nicknames were devised in collaboration with Bivins in an attempt at marketing. Wanya was Squirt, Sean was Slim, Michael was simply Bass, and Nathan assumed the name Alex Vanderpool, after the aforementioned All My Children character. Boyz II Men's first single, Motown Philly, was accompanied with a music video that presented the group in a hip-hop style. And the video also included a cameo from Questlove. The song peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. They followed Motown Philly up with a cover of the 1975 R&B song by G.C. Cameron, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Their cover peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached number 1 on the Hot R&B Singles chart in December 1991, making it 37 spots higher than the original made it. The original was featured on the soundtrack of the 1975 film Cooley High, which the album pays homage to. Was released as the third single. and was another success for the group, peaking at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100 on March 7th, 1992, although it was their first single to miss the top 10. However, the song was a big success on the Billboard Hot R&B/hip-hop singles, peaking at number 1, becoming the group's second number 1 single on that chart. Cooley High Harmony achieved major success, eventually selling over 9 million copies and winning the Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals at the 34th Grammy Awards. Boyz II Men were also nominated for Best New Artist, along with Seal, Color Me Bad, C+C Music Factory, but the Grammy itself went to singer-songwriter Mark Cohn.
Then I'm walking in Memphis, just walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam.
But through all these accolades, tragedy would strike. In 1992, Boyz II Men joined MC Hammer's high-profile Too Legit to Quit tour as an opening act, along with Jodeci. While traveling the country, their tour manager, Roderick Khalil Roundtree, was murdered in Chicago. He was only 36 years old. As the Chicago Tribune reported, the manager had been staying at the guest quarters suite hotel with the rest of the band's entourage when 3 men began knocking on hotel doors. Roundtree headed out to escort them away from the floor, along with the road manager, Quadri El Amin, who ended up being shot in the knee during the struggle in the elevator. When he was killed in Chicago, it really turned us upside down for a while, Nathan Morris later told the Des Moines Register, revealing how much the band had relied on Roundtree for support and guidance. He was pretty much a father figure. He was much more than a road manager. The group's future performances of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday were dedicated to him, and as a result of this unfortunate experience, the song kind of helped to advance their success. Boyz II Men were making a name for themselves at this point, but it was a song that was recorded on an off day while touring that blew them up far beyond anything they could have possibly imagined. When Babyface, Daryl Simmons, and L.A. Reid were working on the soundtrack for Eddie Murphy's Boomerang, which we've previously discussed in the Toni Braxton episode for her duet with Babyface on Give You My Heart, they had penned a song that would change the lives of the boys from Kappa forever. End of the Road was a song that was originally intended to play in a specific scene in Boomerang. That scene didn't end up using the song in the long run, but Babyface thought it was destined to be a hit anyway. While the song was written for the movie, it drew on real relationships that had reached the end of the road. Daryl Simmons recalled the story of the song to Songwriter Universe. At the time, Kenny, Babyface, had been through a divorce, and I was going through a divorce. So here we go with the concept, thinking about the end of the road. That's how the concept came along. So we know this is sad. We know it's just a sad story. So we hit on it. Damn, I think we got something. So we work on it all day. Then LA comes in from the LaFace office with his suit on. He says, okay, you say you all got something. Let me hear it. And I could still see him sitting there on the couch. Kenny plays it. We sing it. And he goes, that's just a smash. Babyface even considered just holding on to the song himself, even recording a demo. However, he knew talent when it was in front of him, and he sent the demo to Michael Bivins to play for the boys. While most of the band really loved the song, upon hearing Babyface's demo, they weren't all thrilled. Nathan Morris in particular didn't really like it, but there was never any question of whether or not they would record it. Babyface and L.A. Reid were a very big deal, and the group knew it was a huge honor to record one of their songs. At this point in history, Babyface and L.A. Reid were pretty much like the Mafia. You didn't turn them down. Daryl Simmons recalled the Songwriters Universe on how everyone met up. We jumped on a plane to Philadelphia because the next night, Boyz II Men were leaving for tour again. We arrived at the studio. I think Sean comes in and says, we've got a problem. We ask, what's that? Wanya has no voice. He's been singing so hard for this tour that he has no voice. We say, okay, we'll give him a night's rest and we'll come back tomorrow. Sean says, no, we leave in the morning. So Wanya says, I could probably sing it, but I've got to stand way back in the corner of the room and just sing as loud as I can. L.A. says, okay, stand back there. So Wanya goes to the back of the room, puts a warm towel around his neck, and I tell people when you listen to the fade on the record when he sings, that made the hair stand up on our arms. We felt so bad by taking him through this, but it was so much pain in what he said. I said, L.A., we've got to put this on the record. And L.A. said, absolutely. Wanya must have sang the song twice, and then L.A. said, we've got enough. We jumped on the plane back to Atlanta, and they mixed it. And that was how End of the Road was created. All of this happened in one 3-hour session. The song's producers had to finish it quickly so they can get it edited into the Boomerang movie. And L.A. Reid ended up pulling an all-nighter, mixing the song in the studio. When his personal trainer came by the next morning, Reid was was still there and decided to put him to work. When he saw that I hadn't slept all night, I knew he'd be mad, he told Blues and Soul. When he came round, I quickly sent him into the booth in the studio and got him and his partner to do finger snaps and hand claps, so that they wouldn't have a chance to say anything to me about staying up all night. So when you hear that on the record, the claps and the snaps, that's my trainers. End of the Road achieved domestic and international success. In the United States, End of the Road spent a then record-breaking 13 weeks at number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100, breaking the record of 11 weeks held by Elvis Presley, which he had held since 1956 with the double-sided single Don't Be Cruel / Hound Dog.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That record would be broken about a year later by Whitney Houston with a cover of I Will Always Love You. Ironically enough, also from a soundtrack, that of The Bodyguard. The song won 2 Grammys at the 35th Annual Grammy Awards, Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals, and Best R&B Song. The music video was directed by Lionel Martin, who has directed many other music videos, including
You got what I need, but you say he's just a friend.
That girl is
All I wanna do is on my zoom, 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 and a boom, boom. Just shake your
End of the Road was even honored by having been parodied on In Living Color.
Although we've come to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you. Breakdown. Hey girl, I know you were seeing one other guy, and I just wanted to say that I love you and I forgive you. Hush now. You don't have to explain. 2 times again. No, you don't have to tell me who it was. See, I don't even want to know. Can I finish talking? See, I'm just trying to tell you that even though you dogged me out, slept around, broke my heart, I still want your little stank behind back. Well, where you going? What to say? See the skeezer. What? Huh? No, I'm not stalking you. I love you. Yeah, I know there's a restraining order, but am I in with 100 feet of you? All right then. What? Oh, did I escape? No, I'm free to come and go as I please, long as I sign out. Look, don't worry about my medication, all right? He's a loser. See, girl, this is how it all started in the first place, your mouth. Now, see what you did? You got me started. See, that's what happened last time. What? Huh? What? Ooh, I wasn't trying to strangle you. I was trying to hug your love. All right, let's settle this once and for all. How many dudes have you slept with? Huh? Go ahead, tell me. I can take it. There were, 3 of them. She's a freak. Hey, she's a freak woman, man. Who were they, babe? Don't name names. What? Huh? What'd you say? Oh, my backup singers. Oh, it's on now. You probably slept with them too, huh? Yeah, I probably find your name all over the precinct wall, baby. I hate you.
End of the Road comes in at 150 beats per minute. Jesus Christ, there is just something so special about this song. It really is lightning in a bottle, which is something that Babyface had a track record of being able to capture over and over again. Everything from the production, down to Wanya breaking his voice, just to deliver one of the most powerful performances in music history, makes this song eternal. Some relationships are like bumper stickers, way too hard to peel off when they've run their course, whether that's a good thing or not. You may not always want the sticker to be there forever, and on the other hand, something may have caused that sticker to fade, and while it hurts, you can't stand to look at it anymore. And that's how love works. Some people are stickers that you don't care about either way, and some will be sorely missed the moment that they fade away. This week's Love Homework is another song about having a hard time letting go. Must Have Been Something by Lake Street Drive.
But there must have been something I could have done better.
And that's it. The end of another love song history lesson. If you like what you learned and you'd like to continue learning, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a like, and join me again next Friday as we take a look into the history of a love song we all know and love. Until next time, remember to stop spinning around and around, and remember you heard it in a love song.
Although we've come to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's so natural. You belong to me. I belong to you. Come can't